So you might have started hitting the gym, and you want to keep track of your weight, BMI, bone mass, and whatnot. But a pen and pad is really an inconvenient way to track your body composition. Smart devices are one way to go, but there are so many options out there, and a lot of them are fairly expensive. What's up guys, I'm Jared the Tech Avenger, and today we're going to show you a solution that is not only convenient, but very cheap. Pretty much anyone nowadays can start tracking their health data, even if you're on a budget. Today we're going to be talking about the Renpho Bluetooth Body Fat Scale, a smart scale that's roughly $30 Canadian, or $22 US. That's an incredibly low price for something that claims to work with your smart home and smart devices. So does it actually compete with the high-end heavy hitters in this smart health sector? Renpho actually reached out to us and sent us this unit to review and also find out the answer to that very question. Well, there are a few things we have to consider here. First, let's look at the design. The scale is created from a thick piece of tempered glass with plastic on the bottom, with 4 rubber feet to keep it from slipping. It has a modern aesthetic to it, and I feel like it would fit in any home. When I took it out of the box for the first time, I was surprised at how small this thing was. Compared to other scales such as the Withings Body Plus, this thing is a fraction of the size. Now, is that such a bad thing? Not at all. It's big enough for anyone to stand on and get an accurate reading, and small enough to fit into a confined area. The one thing I didn't like about the Withings scale is that it was pretty large, so it was really hard to fit in a small bathroom. If you haven't seen our Withings scale review, I'll put a link right over here for you guys. It's also in the description down below. The Renpho scale, however, can easily be tucked into a corner or against a wall without getting in the way. Now, how well does this work with tracking your weight and other body composition metrics? In terms of tracking weight, the scale is on par with the results given by 2 other scales we used in our testing. At the moment, I use this scale to really just track my weight loss and gain, but this scale can do a lot more than that. It's designed with 4 electrodes in total, using 2 electrodes per foot. Now, in general, consumer grade scales used for biometric impedance analysis isn't nearly as accurate as those that are used for clinical or medical purposes, but it kind of gives you a rough idea of those other metrics. Obviously, I don't really have commercial grade equipment to test this with, but for the purpose of this review, I'll go over what Renpho claims it can measure. So let's talk about the app. The app design is clean and comes with some pretty basic or standard features. Really, it comes with what you need, nothing more and nothing less. It was super simple finding the scale upon pairing, and once paired, we had no issues with connecting it there onwards. The first 4 sections provides an overview of your most recently synced metrics. Theoretically, when opening the app, any new data is supposed to sync automatically when you're close to the scale. Sometimes this feature did not work though, especially if I didn't have the app open while stepping on the scale. I really wish there was an ability to force sync on the first page. You would think that pulling down would force a sync with the scale, but nope. It just decides when it wants to talk with it on its own terms. It could just be a minor software glitch in iOS, but apart from that, I love how everything is laid out neatly. We have the weight in the middle circle, so you can get the most recent measurement at a glance. It also tells you when the scale last synced in the gray bar. The green area shows you the overall averages since when you first started using it. You can also set your weight and body fat goals right from the home screen. Everything that the scale measures can also be seen on the first page. A lot of the stuff it measures is kind of alien to me, but what's really cool is that Renpho gives you a quick description of each indicator when you press it, and where you stand on a sliding scale of good to bad, low to high, etc. I'm assuming this uses your age and height when calculating the standards tailored to your average demographic. So we can actually see stuff like visceral fat, body water composition, skeletal muscle, muscle and bone mass, and protein, along with other key metrics. Now we got the trend section. It's a neatly laid out graph that shows you your measurements for each key metric individually. You can view it by week, month, and year. Hitting the clock icon at the top right will give you a calendar view that you can access to see all your measurements on a given day. The My Account section houses your pertinent profile info and settings for the scale. You can also add individual members to the scale so they can track their body composition as well. Or you can compete with friends if they also have the Renpho scale. In order to sync your data with Apple Health, Fitbit, or Google Fit, you can head on over to the settings page and enable those features. One thing to note, although Google Fit is available for iOS, the Renpho cannot sync to Google Fit on your iPhone. That feature is only available exclusively to Android at the moment. Maybe a software update will change that in the future. What I did find pretty useful in this section though was the measurements reminder, which will notify you at set times during the day to step on the scale. Finally, we have the Discover page, which shows you all the Renpho bestsellers and new arrivals. An easy way to get the latest up-to-date info on their line of products. So in summary, does it compete with the likes of Withings, Fitbit, Apple, and other companies big on the smart health game? To an extent, yes. But what it certainly does is complement other smart health products and works well for those who don't want to spend too much money on a scale itself. Obviously, there are some drawbacks that come with the price point, and you might have to babysit the process a bit more compared to other more expensive devices, but in the end, this thing works great for those who don't want to invest too much money into one ecosystem. And keep in mind, those minor nuances I mentioned before are software issues and can be fixed with a future update. The beauty of the Renpho is that it can sync this data with Apple Health, Google Fit, Samsung Health, and Fitbit. That alone justifies the $30 price point. And although it doesn't keep track as seamlessly as its more expensive counterparts, it does the job good enough to give you an overall picture of your health metrics throughout a lengthy period of time. The great thing about syncing with all these different health apps is that you aren't tied down to just one device. For example, you can have your weight and your BMI tracked through Renpho devices, your heart rate tracked through your Apple Watch or your Google Watch, and of course, your sleep tracked by your Nokia device. All of that data can be accessed within Google Fit or Apple Health, whatever you choose. If you're just getting into health tracking, I would highly recommend this device. It allows you to track that important health data for a fairly low price. And if you decide to move to a different device down the road, you can still keep all that data within your preferred health ecosystem. Obviously, the Renpho app isn't as robust as some of its other competitors, but if you're syncing it with Apple Health or Google Fit, it doesn't really matter. What do you guys think of the Renpho Scale? Is it something that you would want to purchase to keep you accountable or just to track your health data? Let us know in the comments down below. And if you haven't seen our review on the Withings scale, I would highly recommend you check that out. We'll put that link down in the description. Guys, I hope this review was entertaining and informative. I'm Jared the Tech Avenger. Don't forget, when it comes to tech, the Tech Avengers are there. We got your back.